In November 2019, the first reported case of COVID-19 appeared in Wuhan, China. And just 3 months later, stock indexes around the world took a nosedive as the virus became a global pandemic. So we've been through financial recessions before, but as the world self-isolates in quarantine, this might actually be the first time we've ever seen a social recession. And here's why that's such a big deal. So you might be familiar with the body's fight or flight response from science class in school, where the body's stress response takes over and fights or flees in times of danger.
How bad is the pandemic going to be?
For the worst week since the financial crisis.
It's a macabre dance of death and destruction.
In this mode, our body shuts down a lot of higher order functions like logical thinking and calm decision making, so we can focus on fighting or running away. This is great for surviving a bear attack, but bad for handling a recession or a pandemic. But thankfully, there's another way we are biologically equipped to handle such situations. There's a concept in scientific literature called the Polyvagal Theory, which says that right before we go into fight, flight, or freeze mode, our body kicks into social survival mode. Our first line of defense as social creatures is to seek out support from our community. It's literally part of our DNA. If we can get the social support we need from each other, we're able to handle crises way more effectively. And this is why a social recession is so worrying. Loneliness decreases our ability to fight off infection and think clearly to handle the stresses that come with a financial crisis. But fortunately, we've learned a lot from the last financial recession on how to be resilient. And here we can learn to apply it to a social context. There's a book by risk analyst Nassim Taleb who studied and warned us about the last big recession. The book is called Anti-Fragile, and I think it's now more potent and relevant than ever. Anti-fragility is this idea that when bad things happen, you can actually grow from it and become a better person, be in a better state than you were before. And so here are 3 ways to become more anti-fragile in the face of uncertainty, through investing in our social support systems, investing in each other. Number 1, one key attribute of anti-fragility is redundancy. Having a stockpile of value ready for you when the tough times come. It means constantly thinking about how we can invest into our relationships, constantly build people up and add value without immediately having to withdraw. So not always thinking, how can I get something from other people, but how I can give.
And go! Happy birthday!
Another way to practice redundancy is to have a therapist. If you don't already have one, I highly, highly recommend it. I wish I found a therapist years ago. Grow yourself in the good times so you are prepared for the bad times. A second way to become more anti-fragile is by this concept called via negativa, or loosely translated, by subtraction. Think about how you can subtract that which distracts you away from community. What numbs you from seeking the social support that you need? If you're anything like me, as soon as you feel this tinge of loneliness or emptiness, I go and I jump to Netflix or Facebook, stuff that doesn't satisfy me, but sort of distracts me from fixing the underlying issue. And so if you subtract these things, you'll find that you actually reach out to friends, to call people, or do things that otherwise take a little bit more effort, but are ultimately better for you. And then a third way to become more anti-fragile is this concept of optionality. And now there's a lot of nuance here, but the concept of optionality is to have options. And so it means not limiting yourself to just one type of connection or one person to lean on for everything. And now I'm not by any means saying that you should ditch your current friends. On the contrary, what I'm saying is that you should see the good in everyone. Realize that we need a wide variety of people in our lives to lift us up in all areas. The best people, the best friends, the best relationships in life come from everywhere, not just people that you've known for a long time. So think about expanding your social circle to give friendships a chance, even if they're not people that you'd otherwise say are your close friends already. So that's a super quick rundown. I hope you found this useful. There's a lot more in the book to chew on if you want to get the book for yourself, although I highly honestly recommend getting a summary because the book is super dense. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. This channel is built on the fundamental idea that connection is a basic human need that we need to focus on more because the world is becoming lonelier, and that is a big problem. So if that resonates with you all, click over here to see a video that explains it in a little bit more detail. And so in the meantime, that's it for this video. Please be safe. Much love, my friends. Bye.